Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Billy. We are currently, as we drink our morning coffee, walking through Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. Today, I'm drinking some Costa Rican coffee that me and my buddy Adam roasted together. We bought it green and roasted it together, and it's particularly tasty this morning. Well, last time we were hanging out, we mentioned walking through every word of the most famous speech in history, Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. So let's get started, beginning exactly where Jesus began, which was with a series of statements called the Beatitudes. Now, they're called that because each sentence begins with the word blessed. And during the Middle Ages, the Bible was only translated into Latin, and the Latin word for blessed is beati. And so these became known as the Beatitudes. Now, to say someone is beati, or to say they're blessed, literally means to say that they are happy, or they are people to be congratulated. So Jesus starts off by talking about who it is that is happy, who are already in the state of happiness. And what he had to say about happiness, well, it was like nothing anyone had ever said before. Right in his first statement, he says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Jesus starts right off by saying that something about happiness that no other major spiritual figure had ever said. That the people in the world who are truly happy are people who are poor in spirit. Now, we got to hit the pause button for just a second here. Where in our world do we say anybody who is poor in anything is to be considered happy or has somehow found happiness? See, the word poor means that you're lacking something. Needy, living in some kind of poverty. And in our minds, that's not good. That's never good. So this is where unpacking Jesus starts to reveal why he was such a revolutionary figure. He brings up something hardly any of us think about. Being poor in spirit is a good thing. Well, if it's a good thing, what does it mean to be poor in spirit? People who are poor in spirit are those who admit that they are spiritually empty. That on their own, apart from God, they have nothing. Nothing. And so Jesus is saying people who get in touch with their need for God are people to be congratulated. Why? Because theirs is the kingdom of heaven. God can only pour into those who are not too full of themselves. There has to be an internal emptying in our lives before there can be a filling. We have to have a spiritual hunger before we begin to fill ourselves with spiritual food. If you don't have a spiritual hunger, why would you ever want to eat anything of a spiritual food nature? See, people who are poor in spirit have admitted their spiritual need and as a result have their life filled with God. And that means happiness. Because nothing in life can match what God can bring to bear. Nothing can intersect our deepest needs, our deepest longings, but God. I honestly believe that we were made for relationship with Him, and that until that relationship is there, we will never be complete, never be fully alive. So only if you know you're needy, only if you know you're in poverty, can the kingdom be given to you. And let me go public with how true that is for me. See, my relationship with God is the best thing that has ever happened to me. Best thing that has ever happened to me. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I've had a lot of good things happen to me. I'm married to an incredible woman, and we've been married for almost 17 years. We have 5 amazing children who we love. I have a job and a calling that I'm passionate about and I adore. With all that said, which, by the way, is what many people aspire to have in life, my relationship with God is still the best thing that has ever happened to me. So Jesus begins this speech by saying that happiness begins with knowing that the deepest needs in your life can only be intersected by God. And that the people who know that they are the ones who need that the most chase after God for that interaction. And as a result, they are the happiest. Why? Because they get God. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I'll see you next time.